All right, today, hi and welcome. Okay, it's time to talk about what happened to my Hot Rod Deluxe. Have the amp pretty much flawless for 19 years. The first time I go to take, I know it's shame on me, the first time I go to take it on stage, doesn't work. I plugged it in. Okay, I was at the gig. I plugged it in. I, let the tubes warm up. Yes, okay, it was early in the morning, so I let it warm up a little longer. But like after about like a minute, 2 minutes, you can turn the standby off, and you got sound, right? So the amp's not warmed up, but it's warmed up enough to play. And I turned it on, and there was no sound. So I thought, okay, well maybe my volume is down. So I put the volume up, and that thing, as soon as you touch the volume, it just roars to life, and I couldn't hear anything. So I thought, well, maybe I'm not adequate power, or maybe whatever. But, if there's sound coming out of it, there's power. So I tested a few other things, and the other things were working. So it's like, okay, obviously there's power getting to it. And I tried this channel, the lead channel, the overdrive channel, or the boost channel, overdrive channel, boost channel, and the clean channel. And obviously I just wanted the clean channel, but for the day, but nothing. Like no roaring to life, no roaring Hot Rod Deluxe. What was going on? So maybe I blew a vacuum tube. But then I'm like, if you blow a vacuum tube, usually what happens is you play one channel and there's no sound. You hit the other channel and it comes on roaring because it's still got sound there, right? But both channels were down, so I was like, oh, hopefully it's not the transformer. But I didn't smell nothing, so that was good. So nothing was on fire, that kind of thing. So I played around with it for about 10 minutes, and then I just gave up on it because, I saw an amp inside. I'm going to just use that. So rather than worrying and stressing about that, I went and got Amanda's little amp in the shop. So she couldn't sell that one that day. I came out and played the rest of the show with this little 15-watt Frontman amp or whatever by Fender. Did the job. So I got this home, and about an hour, well, before I started making this series of videos, I tested it out. So I had a hunch what it might have been. So I thought, okay, so I went through the preliminaries. I just grabbed my Flying V, which is over there right now, because I'm sitting right where my Flying V usually is. I made the Flying V right there. So I go and I test all the channels the same way I did. The other day, tested the volumes, see if it was just crackly volumes, whatever. It wasn't that. And then I thought, okay, well, when I had this sitting up on the Mesa Boogie cabinet over there, there's two input jacks on the back of this amp. One for external and one for the main speaker. And I thought, well, maybe it could be my input jacks. So I tried both input jacks with the guitar, and it was an input jack 1 or input jack 2. So I thought, okay, well, the next thing, if both power tubes failed at once, even the pre-tubes will make more noise than what I was getting. Like this, you're putting it on 12, and it was just like radio static. It wasn't very loud at all. So I'm like, okay, that's not, there's something else going on. So I thought, I'm going to unplug the speaker and plug it back in. So I took the speaker, I unplugged it, because when I pulled the speaker out of unplugged that speaker, I thought, well, maybe what I did is accidentally unplug the other speaker. So I unplugged it and I put it back in. Nope, still the same. So I thought, okay, let me think here. So I shut it off, and I thought, let's try the other jack. Full power. So basically, I think I don't know how I would have done it, because the Mesa Boogie was working the other day, so maybe I blew a speaker jack. That's what I'm thinking. The only other thing it could be, and I can't test it today, but I'll test it tomorrow, is maybe the wire to the speaker could have a short in it, and maybe just by unplugging and plugging it back in, the first time I did it, it probably didn't, get rid of the short, and the second time I did it, okay. So I got to test both speaker jacks, and I got to see if it's either the speaker cable or the jacks. Now, if it's the jacks and I got the main jack working, that's fine. That just means that, it can only one cabinet at a time, so to speak, either the main speaker in that or the 4x12, which is okay. Because, a lot of power there. But if I did blow the speaker jack, that's an internal problem, and then I got to take it apart, and then I got to test it, and there's ways to test it, but that's what it seems to be. So my amp is still working. it you know, it wasn't that. So like I didn't have time to mess with it yesterday. So I'm glad it's still working because it is an expensive amp, even though it's 19 years old. So that's what happened to my amp for its very first gig. Kind of a bad omen, but everything kind of worked out fairly well. The guitars, they did extremely well. They are very dirty. Notice, you know, I wasn't really sweating that much, but you know, you're out there, you know. So I could see like on the Mark Holcomb guitar, it needs a good get some wax polish out there and stuff like that. One thing I will say though, these guitars are probably going to play live quite a bit. Especially that one. That one, I'm not gonna. You got to be careful with guitars when you play them live. You start showing signs of where, like, you got to think about what you're doing with them, right? When you're in your room, you're just sitting there playing, or you're standing there playing, or whatever. But when you're on stage, you're usually moving around, you're sweating on them and stuff like that, and they can get very grimy and grubby right away. So choose your live guitars, choose your kind of studio guitar or your home guitar or whatever. Just kind of keep in mind that, you know, if you're going to play them live, they're going to get scratched. They're going to get tarnished. Tarnished is probably more likely than, like, you can already see just one gig and there's already tarnish on them that you got to polish. And at some point you can't polish it out. So you just got to be mindful that you will ruin your guitars when you play them live. But that said, when you got a guitar that plays live really well and you can rely on it, that is a really good feeling. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you guys. So there we go. That's how my gig went, and I can't wait till the next one. And I'll tell you all about that one in other videos.